I just realized that I didn't even set up the casting tool. One moment as I set up the title. And set up the casting tool as well for our fresh series. And here we go, spawning in the top right hand corner of our GyuN. We have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. Patiently waiting in this match, in the decider match for quite some time. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the blue Zerg. It is DRG. Have our 2-racks opener here on our GyuN. Now, we have seen some different building placements just because this wall, this entryway into the natural is actually really awkward. So we have seen some really interesting SimCity here with 2-racks. So I'm curious as to how ByuN is going to piece this together. Now he does decide to wall off. Behind this, DRG going for a hatch, gas pool, standard opener out of DRG. Again, I don't expect him to be too aggressive in this series. Yeah? Are we okay? Interesting SCV movement here out of ByuN as he does send out his SCV. Yo, are we going for Proxy Factory? No shot. We are going for a Proxy Factory. Is this the Mass Cyclone all-in? I think it is. Oh boy. Oh, so we saw this. We've seen quite a lot of this over the weekend. Do we have a factory back at home? Yes. Okay. So this is Mass Cyclone. This build, we saw it from Oliveira. We saw it from Oliveira in WTL, and we saw it when I was casting with Asher. Was it ByuN? Did we see ByuN do it in WTL as well? No, I don't think it was ByuN. It was Oliveira and Clem, if I'm not mistaken. I think Oliveira and Clem. So this is going to be a reactor all-in. Reactors on both factories, and we're going to be going Mass Cyclone. There it is. There's the first reactor. We're going to be seeing another reactor here back at home. We're going to be making 4 cyclones at a time. This is an all-in that has been going through the Korean scene, going through the pro Terran scene in this matchup in TVZ with mixed success. Dolan, that's it. Dolan did it. Dolan did it Sunday morning. He did it Sunday morning as well. So we've seen Dolan do it, we've seen Oliveira do it, and now we've seen ByuN do it. Let's go. Now, this can be very hit and miss depending on what DRG sees and how he reacts. He's going to be moving out with his Lings. He does get eyes on the factory, on the reactored factory, which is very suspect. Marines are going down. First 2 Marines, actually. And I wonder if DRG can piece this together. So for those wondering what you need here, Queens and Lings. We need Queens and Lings to defend. Lings do so well against these Cyclones. And we're scouting. No! We scout, but we don't check. We barely do miss the factory. We miss the proxy. DRG, he doesn't see what's going on. Back at home, he's making Queens. He's saturating his bases. This is fine, but we need Lings, Papi. We need Lings. And ByuN is pushing across the map. He's pulling SCVs to repair. And he's still just making more Cyclones. And here we go. The army has revealed itself. As we take down one of those overlords already. We're going for even more. Looking to supply block DRG if possible. And he will be supply blocked. 16 Lings are on the way. And again, Lings, they can get on top of these Cyclones. But alas, the repair is too good. They don't get it. The Cyclone doesn't go down. And ByuN is going to keep on pushing. He hasn't killed any Queens yet, but we're getting there. As here comes another wave of Cyclones. And we take down the Queens, we take down the Lings, and this is snowballing out of control. Yeah, this is just becoming far too much. There's 3 Queens left, 2 of them barely alive. The boys have to be pulled as well. The Lings, they go for a surround. They go for the surround, but alas, only 1 Queen is left. And ByuN, he has just snowballed out of control. He takes down every single worker. More Cyclones are on the way. And GG does get called. ByuN takes game number 1. Oh god. GG. Fun fact, I haven't laddered in like almost a week. I haven't laddered in a couple of... I'm not looking forward to the ladder. Ay. GG, well played. ByuN will take game number 1. Oh my god. Very committed, very risky. DRG, he was so close to scouting it. He was so close to coming across it on the left-hand side. Likewise, yeah, he was also just being a little bit too greedy. He did see the awkward wall, right? He saw that it was a Rax into factory with potentially Cyclones on the way, or potentially Hellions. That's the other option that it could have been. It could have been a Hellbat all-in for all DRG knows. It could have been that instead. What's important is that DRG didn't have control of the Xel'Naga, so he didn't see the army coming across the map ahead of time. As a result, he was droning. Barely had any queens, barely had any lings. He had like a single-digit amount of lings there, and he got supply blocked on top of that. Like, everything went wrong for DRG, and just like that, ByuN, he takes game 1. Takes game number 1. Oof. And now we work our way towards game 2, and so far, yeah, ByuN and Maru, they've been going for non-stop all-ins here in GSL, and that continues to be the case. And are we going to see the same thing or something similar as in a 2-base all-in on site Delta? Here we go, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. We have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN, leading the series 1-0, and spawning in the top left-hand corner. We have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player down in this series, looking to fight back, looking to force the ace match. It is DRG. Now, what's interesting about what ByuN did in game 1 is that we have seen that against Protoss. That proxy factory double reactor just mass cyclone all in. We have seen that again. That's kind of what I was getting at. When we saw Oliveira do it, it was Oliveira versus Trigger in WTL. Oliveira did that build against Trigger in a TVP. Trigger held barely. He barely did hold against it. So he was able to pull off the defense. We can see ByuN pulling it off here against Zerg, against DRG. So you can be flexible with it. Like, if you want to try it yourself, you know, you can be experimental against Protoss. Not just Zerg. Smurge. As ByuN this time is going for a low ground 2 racks. Gonna be going for a 2 racks here on the low ground instead. I say that, my god, he did this again. He did the same thing against Dark. He's crazy. It is gonna be 3 racks Mass Reaper. Mass Reaper here out of ByuN. If you remember, in our first ZvT, that I was about to say that no shot he goes 3 racks Reaper against DRG on the same map that he did it against Dark, in the same group, in the same tournament. No shot. Yeah, he's doing it. No fear, no fear. 3 racks Mass Reaper out of ByuN. Now, if you weren't here at the start of the day, he did this against Dark, and there's a lot of pressure on ByuN because denying the third is not good enough. He needs to kill queens or kill drones. Denying the third, you can do that with the 2 racks, you know? There's nothing special about that. When you go for a 3 racks, you're that much more committed, and I feel like you have that much more pressure on you to get more damage done. As the first Reaper does make its way across the map. So far, everything looking normal. Second Reaper on the way. Again, everything's looking normal. Looking like a regular 2 racks. DRG does have a drone in position to expand. And so far, he hasn't lost anything. The queens do arrive. And DRG does throw down that third. So far, so good. Getting a lot of damage done on these Reapers. Now, ByuN is going to pivot away. He's going to check the third base location. And he should be forcing a cancel here. That's okay, but again, ideally we want more. He didn't kill any drones. He didn't kill any queens. Lings are going for a counterattack. And we will force a cancel here. Oh my god, the Lings, as they are looking for a Reaper. Oh! When they get us around, they catch a Reaper. Across the map, hopefully we don't miss the cancel. Hopefully we don't get a kill here. As we do cancel just in time. The Lings aren't able to do too much more from here. There is Ling speed on the way, and we have 14 more Lings in production. ByuN should be aware of the link speed timing, and he should turn back soon. He doesn't want to get caught on the map against all these speedlings. And ByuN will turn around, and now we're transitioning. Again, this isn't all in. He did force a cancel, yes, and now he's working towards a third. He has to make sure he preserves these Reapers. These Reapers are the only thing keeping him alive. And the Overlord will confirm that we have a factory on the way, NG Bay as well, add-ons. DRG confirms the follow-up. Now, if you remember, from here, against Dark, ByuN went for a 2-base all-in. He did not take a third. He did not take a third TC. He just threw down additional Raxes and just went all in. And it did not quite work against Dark. We'll see what he goes for here against DRG. As the Reapers, oh, they're going to be committed. They're getting caught out. The surround is real. There is no escape. And ByuN is going to lose every single Reaper. Ay, ay, ay. And when you're going for this follow-up, you need the Reapers alive. It's not something you see too often, but Reapers alongside a bio army, they actually add value. They stop you from getting surrounded. The KDA charges can do so much against a Ling Bane army. On top of that, you need the extra DPS, and was caught out there. ByuN was, at least. Loses all of his Reapers. Now the question becomes, do we throw down a third? Do we expand? Or do we just double down? And the problem is that, you know, for GSL, they're all in studio. I'm sure that DRG was watching Dark versus ByuN. I'm sure he was watching with interest. We have Carapace on the way. DRG takes his third. Gonna be droning. If I want to be a little bit critical about DRG, usually if you have your third base cancelled that early on, you double expand, and you want to take a fourth base immediately, just so you can catch up larva-wise and economically. But DRG, he's playing this out safer. Now, he may be playing this out safer because of what he saw against Dark. So he doesn't want to take too many risks. He doesn't want to get caught out. But I do think this fourth is quite delayed, as ByuN is pushing out. And he does have Sim. Combat Shield still on the horizon. Medivacs just now on the way. And DRG is going to be working on a lair and a Bailey nest. So DRG is going for his own greed. So instead of going for a fourth base faster, he went for a faster 1-1 upgrades. He's a little bit greedy. ByuN bleeding out some of these Marines. As he rotates over towards the fourth base, it's still very low. DRG, he has to collapse on this army if he wants to save it. Pretty efficient trade from ByuN. He shaves off a lot of lings. Oh, the Overlords! Uh-oh. The Overlords are caught out. But they all will survive. Fourth is getting up and running. Still no third CC, by the way. The longer this goes on, the more likely this is that it's a 2-base all-in. And ByuN may decide to pull the boys. Now, what's also interesting is that the defense is very different as well. If you remember, Dark went Roaches. He went very Roach heavy. DRG is going Ling Bane. Ling Bane, Queen. Pulling workers against Ling Bane isn't as potent as it is against Roaches. So we'll see if ByuN goes for it. There we go. The tank push is upon us. The tanks have arrived. Liberators are on the way behind this. Again, we only have one eBay, so this is pretty all in out of ByuN. He has to get damage done. He has to at least break this fourth. And the fourth may go down. DRG doesn't have Baneling speed, and yeah, he's going to give up on this hatchery. Taking the southern base instead. The hatchery will fall. The tanks were on siege for a moment, but ByuN is in position. So far, not a bad push out of ByuN. Not bad. He is looking for more. What's important is that, again, DRG was very mature. He didn't lose any of his Ling Bane. Alright, now we're going in. Tanks are on siege. The tanks are going to be going down. Good target firing on the Bailings. And now we're going to chase this off of creep. Oh, we want the surround. And it looks like we will get it. Marines full, tank as well. And DRG does not turn back around. He wants another tank, and he doesn't get it. Hot pickup from ByuN, but he is forced back. And there's nothing that he's returning back to, you know? There's no third base. There's no armory for 2-2. No second eBay. ByuN is still committed. And DRG takes his fourth. 2-2 about to kick in for DRG as well. He's even going into Hydras, which I think is a little bit greedy. I don't know if we can afford Hydras at the moment. Pure Ling Bane is usually what we want. As ByuN moves out, DRG going for a counterattack. This is risky. I mean, ByuN was already all in, and this is just going to confirm it. As everything here at the Natural is going to be going down. And ByuN cannot turn around. 15 SCVs, the production under threat, tanks are being called out. God, and that's a lot of freedom. The liberation zones have arrived. The freedom is here. ByuN is going to be able to take down the fourth base, but DRG doesn't care about the fourth. He can't afford to lose it. As DRG is racing back home, he's just buying time, building more Ling Bane. And it's all or nothing here for ByuN. DRG is coming in from behind. He's looking for the surround, and he will surround the army. He takes down the tanks. He takes down the majority of the Marines as well. The Liberators are putting in a lot of work. Oh my god. The Libs are going ham. Only one Queen survives, but all the tanks fell. The majority of the Marines. DRG, more or less, he has cleaned this up. There's nothing else here for ByuN. There's nothing left at home. And here it is. Now the Hydras are coming out. Now we have some anti-air. And ByuN, such a bold move to just go for the same all-in that he did against Dark. While DRG was, I'm pretty sure DRG was watching that, by the way. I'm so just saying. Yeah, ByuN gonna push through the center of the map instead. He reinforces with a couple of extra tanks, but he's just running out of steam. He's running out of Marines. GG gets called, and DRG fights back, putting a point on the board. GG, we are going to the ace match. All the way, Bobby, all the way. All the way to game 3. Ooh, and again, yeah, just really confident play out of ByuN is what I will say about that. And I'm curious what happens in game 3. Game 1, ByuN went for, it was game 2 that ByuN went for 3-Rax Reaper into a 2-base all-in. Game 1, ByuN went for the Proxy Factory Mass Cyclone, 1-base all-in. The hell do we see in game 3? That's what I want to know. I'm feeling an 8-Rax, but it's not up to me. It's up to ByuN. As we are going to be loading in to Oceanborn, the final game of this series, the final game of this broadcast. It all ends here. As spawning into the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Zerg player tying up the series 1-1 in that last game. The blue Zerg player, it is DRG. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. When it comes to that last game, it was a really rough start for ByuN. If you remember, when he committed to the 3-Rax Reaper, losing all of his Reapers out in the middle of the map, that was a big blow to him. May not look like a lot, but again, that's just what his early game was about. Denying the third base and maintaining map control and at least keeping them alive for a follow-up push with your medevacs, with your sim timing. Alas, he wasn't able to pull that off, so he did lose a big chunk of his army to begin with. And as a result, he lost a lot of momentum as well. I should also give credit to DRG. Again, really mature play. Initially just giving up his 4th base, recognizing that he just had to build up his Lingbane army. And it was a little bit risky of DRG to go for his own Lingbane counterattack to cripple the economy of ByuN at the natural. But it was just a way to secure the victory. And again, he knew that time was on his side. He knew that he could afford to lose a 4th base, maybe even the 3rd base, as long as he contained ByuN to like a 1 base economy. And he was able to build up enough back at home. Snowball out of control, get into 2-2. GG. And now we get into game 3. Once again, we have a low ground 2-racks opener from ByuN. This isn't the biggest of tells. This could be for a follow-up 4-racks, could be for 3cc 2-on-1. There's a lot that ByuN can do with this, so we'll just have to wait and see. He should be expanding. Should be expanding. There is no 3rd rack, so he's not going Mass Reaper, thankfully. Not going to be going Mass Reaper this time. As DRG goes for a standard hatch gas pool. No early gas, no early spawning pool. Everything looking as it should. Oh my god. Okay, ByuN. Interesting move here. So, he sends his first Reaper across the map, but he's vying for map control, yes. But he is already transitioning. He's already working on his add-ons, which means if DRG, if he sneaks out a 3rd, ByuN can't do anything about it. So a really greedy move here out of ByuN. He wants a drone. Oh, and he does get one. One drone does go down. A good pick-off here for ByuN. But ByuN, he only makes 2 Reapers. So a very light commitment here from ByuN. And I'm sure he was hoping that DRG stays on 2 bases, so ByuN gets away with a lot of greed. But that isn't the case. DRG does get away with the 3rd base, and ByuN doesn't delay him. So, almost a better start for DRG, I would say. As ByuN does get eyes on this, he now realizes what's going on, does turn back around. So basically, ByuN was trying to fake out DRG by making it look like he was opening up 3 Reaper, when he didn't. Oh, he does get a tumor. A good pick-off. Like, despite the builds and despite how things have turned out, ByuN is getting a lot done with these 2 Reapers. A drone, a tumor, good stuff. Behind this is going to be a 3-racks follow-up. Working towards Sim and Combat Shields. We saw this on Hard Lead against Dark. And the same thing is applicable here, where basically ByuN, he's building up towards a timing of Stim and Combat Shields. There isn't that much pressure on him to get economic damage done, but if he sees an opportunity, he will go for it. He will dive in if his opponent is underprepared. Behind this, he should be expanding and taking a 3rd. Working towards this factory, starport, and a 3rd base. Meanwhile, DRG is going roaches. Okay. Pulling a page out of Dark's book. We are going for a roach opener instead. And ByuN is just building up his forces. Again, just going to be waiting to hit that timing. There's that factory on the way. So, upon seeing this factory, ByuN's 3rd base is delayed. So I'm already getting a little bit concerned. Usually we would go for the 3rd CC first and then work towards the factory and the starport. But ByuN is going to be delaying it here quite a bit. Marines are moving out. eBay's on the way. This is looking suspiciously like game number 2. This is looking like the Site Delta game, which is a little bit concerning. So we go. ByuN is pushing out. Does go for the stim, and he will catch 1 queen. He gets a 2nd queen as well, and a roach. And a roach. Really good pickups here from ByuN. Oh my god, he's sniveling out of control. He gets almost every single queen, but the roach reinforcements will push this back. An efficient trade though, as the Marines do get cleaned up. Oh, every single Marine goes down. A big loss here for ByuN. So there's a couple of things that are concerning. One, he did well. Like, he killed 5 queens. That's a big pick-off. The downside is that ByuN did throw away his entire Marine army, and he is rebuilding, don't get me wrong, but there's no 3rd. We went factory, starport, eBay, and we're pulling the boys? We have to. I mean, we have to try to buy time for this bunker. DRG is droning behind this, and ByuN, he's actually chasing this very far out into the map. A lot of lost mining time, a lot of economic damage was just done. And again, there is no third base. DRG, he has eyes on it. He has an overlord in position. And if we're going for a 2-base all-in, losing a big chunk of Marines like we just did, 22 Marines went down, by the way, that is going to soften the next attack. Okay, there it is. We do have a third now being thrown down at the 6-minute 30 mark. Very late. Very late third. It's possible that this was never the initial plan, but because ByuN has been slowed down so much, he may now realize that he can't pull off an all-in. So he's expanding behind this to transition out. Meanwhile, back at home, DRG is getting a 4th base. He's getting fully saturated. Getting into roaches. 1-1. Is going to get supply blocked. And now it's on DRG to figure out whether this is all in or not. Right, like he still doesn't see a third. He's still trying to piece this together. DRG probably doesn't feel safe enough to actually drone and saturate this 4th. And ByuN is going to be relying on that. He's going to be hoping that DRG puts himself behind economically. Here we go. ByuN going to be rotating in towards the main base. Abusing the lack of anti-air. Again, DRG, he lost a bunch of queens earlier and he barely has any left. Oh! Speaking of, another queen goes down. Another queen does go down, and Dark, is that you? DRG, he's going for a Nidus. Let's go. Sorry, ByuN is expanding. This has not been spotted yet by DRG. But I'm sure he realizes that his opponent is expanding, otherwise there'd be an army knocking down his front door. And DRG is cutting workers at 65, 3-base saturation. We have a Nidus into the main base. ByuN doesn't see! No, he has a tank on the high ground to protect the 3rd base, but it's exposed to the Nidus itself. Ay, ay, ay. And here we go, the Nidus is done, and roaches are pushing in. We have a 2nd Nidus here to reinforce. Tank will fall. ByuN is going to try to punish this 4th base, but we have Roach Ravager back at him to defend. We will deal with this. The boys are being pulled. Oh my god. And ByuN, he just can't deal with this. Not anymore, not after losing that tank. He's only got 1 tank left. The SCVs, they're helping. But if we get closer, we can pile down that tank. And DRG, he's getting out of control. He's getting on top of the tank as well. GG gets called. It's just too much. And Dongray Q will take the series 2-1, eliminating ByuN from the GSL. GG. Oh my god. ByuN doesn't make it through. He does get eliminated, and DRG makes it to the round of 8. He does qualify, and yeah, really aggressive play here out of ByuN. Again, this game, I still stand by it. I still want to call it a 2-base all-in out of ByuN, and I feel like the 3rd that he threw down was more of a reluctant 3rd, instead of something that was initially on the table and initially a part of the plan. ByuN, he was so aggressive this series, or not just this series, against Dark as well. ByuN, he was just going all in against Dark game after game, just hyper aggressive. And yeah, we saw something similar out of Maru, and it didn't quite work out for him either. So really interesting that both ByuN and Maru decided to approach these TBZs in this fashion. Didn't work in the end, and the tables were even turned against ByuN and Maru as well in their own respective series. So GG, well played. Congratulations to DRG. ByuN is going to be eliminated. And what I will say though is that even though some 2 really big Terran players in Korean didn't make it out of the round of 16, which is crazy by the way, but a lot of it does come down to their play styles. If you look at their matches, like it is quite telling how they approach their groups overall. Even though they did struggle, we still got players like Cure, and my eyes are on Cure, to be honest. Cure and Bunny, they make it through. We were talking about this a couple of days ago when it was announced that Cure joined Team Liquid, and I remember there was someone in the chat. Someone in the chat that asked, like, how much ROI. I don't think it was meant to be like vindictive or anything. Someone asked, like, how much ROI, how much return of investment does Cure really give Team Liquid? And I was like, mate, if you've been following Korean StarCraft this year, Cure has been popping off. Like, he's been getting really good results. He's actually earned more money than Maru in online tournaments this year, like, because of his performances in Gamers 8 and in DreamHack Yongshiping. Like, Cure has been performing better than the other Terrans in Korea. That's just a fact. And yeah, like, because of that, I do think it's really smart of Team Liquid, or it does make sense of Team Liquid to pick him up. And my eyes are on Cure to see how far he goes in GSL this season, because he's also in the round of 8, and I am looking forward to seeing how, like, him potentially even win, because Cure is a champion. Like, he's won events before, and I do feel like a lot of people overlook him. I bring this up all the time, but Cure, like, he's overshadowed just because, like, he doesn't really have, like, as bombastic of a personality, or, like, as charismatic as, like, ByuN, for example. Like, ByuN, he, like, oozes, like, you can get behind ByuN very easily. Like, it's very easy to be a fan of ByuN, and Maru's just so good, and he's also really young as well. Oliveira, wholesome, and I feel like Cure, we get a little bit less of his personality. He's a little bit more robotic. He's kind of like Innovation-esque in a way, but Innovation, because he was dominant, he still got a fan base, because he was like the Terminator. He was like, no nonsense, no emotion, just win everything. So Cure's kind of got like that personality type, and because of that, I feel like a lot of people, again, they don't really think too highly of him. They think of like Clem or ByuN or Maru, but yeah, I do appreciate that Cure's getting a lot of success this year, and we'll see if he goes. I want to see him go far. I want to see him potentially even win a GSL. I don't know. We'll see. It's been looking very solid. Regardless, GG, well played. Congratulations to Dark and DRG for making it through. This group. My condolences to Australia. I don't want to overshadow him or look past him, but it is always amazing to see some of these foreign players make it deep into GSL. Scarlet, even though she didn't make it out of her group, she had a really good performance, and like, I was pleasantly entertained and surprised by how well she did. Didn't make it out of the round of 16, but again, really good games nonetheless. Here for Australia, had a bit of a rough showing here, especially against ByuN. Even against DRG, he was hyper aggressive against Australia, going all in 2 games in a row as well. But I do look forward to ESL Masters at least. Even though Australia and Scarlet, even though their runs in GSL have concluded, they are at least competing in ESL Masters Americas, and that is this weekend. This weekend, starting Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we do have ESL Masters on this channel and over on the official channel as well. So definitely do look forward to it. And yeah, I guess this is my PSA to you guys, is that, of course, GSL is ongoing, and we all love Korean StarCraft, but ESL Masters Winter is starting at the end of the week. So be sure to tune in to all the other regions, like Asia, Americas, Europe as well. All the regionals are upon us. For those who maybe don't know the format, after ESL Masters wraps up, then DreamHack Atlanta is where the finals of ESL Masters will be, and I think that's in November, right? That's like end of November, beginning of December is DreamHack Atlanta. That's the offline event. That's what everyone is working towards. But before DreamHack Atlanta, Masters Winter, and yeah, it's gonna be a lot of good games, a lot of good fun. Oh, I'm catching it. ByuN, unstoppable. Could we see the group results? Oh, right. Yes. Of course. My apologies. Sorry, I usually show them. I just got ahead of myself. I did get ahead of myself, but yeah, we will switch the scenes over, and yeah, that wraps up our day of StarCraft, with Dark coming out first, DRG coming out second. Again, ByuN and Australia did fight back. Of course, Australia was able to force the ace match out of DRG. Had some really intense games between DRG and Australia. A lot of all-ins from both sides. No 3-base economy or 4-base economy, not really, between the two of them. I mean, oh god, Hecate was crazy. Estrella versus DRG on Hecate, that was pretty crazy, and maybe the highlight of the night. I'm not too sure. Likewise, we had a very intense ZvT between Dark and DRG. ByuN versus Estrella, that was a dominant performance out of ByuN. Let me tell you, that was ByuN's TVP was looking on point, but again, just very aggressive in all of his TVZs. Did not work in his favor. And yeah, with that, thank you so much everyone for watching. Thanks so much everyone for tuning in. GSL, the round of 8 is going to be beginning. I think it's just started, actually. The GSL round of 8, I believe it just did start. So if you want to tune in, let me just link you. I got you covered. I got you covered. We actually finished up just in time. So the round of 8 is currently live, and the link is in the chat to the YouTube stream. YouTube stream isn't ideal. They do try to push the Africa stream, but we got you covered on YouTube. So yeah, if you want to tune into GSL that is currently live, currently with the round of 8, did start like 20 minutes ago, something like that. So you can check it out. Este Jado. Outside of that, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. We will most likely go over the round of 8, the GSL round of 8 ourselves, maybe in a couple of weeks. I say a couple of weeks just because we have a really packed schedule with ESL Masters Winter. We're going to be very busy. We're going to be covering the B stream for a couple of days, and we may also cover some of the we may also co-stream the mainstream as well, on this channel. So look forward to it. Otherwise, thank you for watching. You can follow us on our social medias. We have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. Links are in the chat. You can support us on Patreon if you wish. You can support us by subscribing on Twitch. All the money that we make goes towards our tournaments, goes towards our bi-weekly events that we try to host regularly and try to support some of the smaller regions out there. You're welcome. You're welcome. Hope you all enjoyed it. And yeah, with that, thank you so much. We're going to be back tomorrow. Let me just double check the calendar, but we do have a cast. Well, we cast every day here on this channel. And tomorrow we're going to be casting Kung Fu Cup. Kung Fu Cup in just over 24 hours. In half an hour, add a day to that, we're going to be live on this channel with the Kung Fu Cup. If you don't know what that is a weekly tournament with a massive prize pool. So you get the best players from Europe, Korea, and North America coming together. You get players like Trigger, Estrella, Scarlet. You get players like Cyril, Rainer, Clem, Max Pax, as well as Dark, ByuN, Cure, Solar, Hero, anyone who's anyone. I think the only players that don't appear for this is like Maru. I think Maru's very rarely shows up for Kung Fu Cup. He has done it before, but it's more of an irregularity for Maru. So yeah, tune in tomorrow, 24 hours. We'll see you here. See you here for the Kung Fu Cup. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, enjoy yourselves. Take care. Drink plenty of water. Watch plenty of StarCraft. And hasta luego. Bye.